Harold Benson never thought that something so small could quietly change something so precious. He was 74, a retired schoolteacher who had spent his entire life paying attention to the details. His shirts were always pressed. His hair was neatly combed. His shoes were polished, even if he was only going to the grocery store. Cleanliness and dignity mattered to him. Every Sunday was his favorite day of the week. That was when his granddaughter Lily would come over. The moment she stepped through the front door, she used to run straight into his arms. No hesitation. No second thoughts. Just pure joy. But recently, something felt different. Instead of running to him, Lily stayed close to her mom. When Harold leaned in for a hug, she turned her head slightly. When he kissed her forehead, she wrinkled her nose without meaning to. It was subtle. Small. But he noticed. One afternoon, as he walked past the hallway, he heard Lily whisper softly while tugging on her mother's sleeve. "Grandpa smells weird." The words weren't cruel. They weren't loud. But they landed heavy. That night, long after everyone had gone to bed, Harold sat by his bedroom window in silence. The house was quiet, but his mind wasn't. He looked down at his hands. They were clean. His nails were trimmed. He had showered that morning. He always showered every morning. He wore fresh clothes every day. So what was happening? If any part of that feels familiar, you're not alone. Harold's story isn't rare. In fact, it's far more common than most people talk about. Many older adults begin to notice a subtle shift over time. Family members open windows without saying anything. Someone takes a small step back during conversation. A hug feels shorter than it used to. At first, you might think it's your imagination. You might tell yourself you're being sensitive. But often, there's something real happening underneath the surface. And here's the important part, it's not about being dirty. It's not about laziness. It's not about poor hygiene. And it's definitely not about losing dignity. It's biology. As we age, our bodies go through quiet changes. After 60, sweat production decreases significantly. That might sound like a good thing. Less sweat, less odor, right? Not exactly. Sweat actually helps carry waste products out of the body. When we produce less of it, those substances can linger on the skin longer. Over time, bacteria feed on them, and that's when odor develops. There's also a shift in skin oils. The natural oil on our skin, called sebum, changes in composition as we age. It begins to produce a compound known as nonenal. This compound has a distinct musty scent. It's subtle, but noticeable, especially to younger noses. Most seniors don't even realize it's happening. Add to that another common change, dry mouth. Saliva plays a huge role in keeping the mouth clean. It washes away bacteria constantly. But as we get older, saliva production drops. That dryness allows odor-causing bacteria to grow more easily, even if you brush regularly. When you combine these changes, less sweat, altered skin oils, and reduced saliva, you get a scent that isn't about hygiene at all. It's simply part of aging. Harold didn't want to accept that distance with his granddaughter. He didn't want Sunday hugs to become awkward. So instead of withdrawing, he started learning. Quietly. Privately. Determinedly. What he discovered surprised him. First, this issue affects nearly everyone past 60 in some way. Second, and this gave him hope, it can absolutely be managed. Not with expensive colognes. Not with overpowering perfumes. Not with complicated routines. But with simple, consistent habits that work with the body, not against it. In this video, you're going to learn what Harold learned. Gentle, practical steps that reduce that aging-related scent naturally. No fancy products required. No extreme lifestyle changes. Because this isn't just about smelling better. It's about confidence. It's about sitting close to your grandchild without second-guessing yourself. It's about walking into a room and feeling calm instead of self-conscious. It's about reclaiming warmth, closeness, and ease. If Harold's story resonates with you, stay with me. The tips we're about to cover may sound simple, but they've helped thousands of older adults restore not just freshness, but connection. And if you're watching this and thinking about someone you love, maybe a parent, maybe a friend, consider sharing this with them. Sometimes the hardest struggles are the silent ones. A little understanding can change everything. Before we go further, take a second to like this video and subscribe if you appreciate honest, empowering health advice tailored for older adults. And turn on notifications so you never miss a tip that could make everyday life just a little better. Now, let me tell you about Eleanor. Eleanor Myers was 79 and incredibly proud of her cleanliness. She bathed every single morning without fail. She wore freshly laundered clothes. She even applied a soft floral perfume that she had used for years. But one evening after dinner, she noticed her son quietly opening all the windows. It wasn't hot outside. There wasn't smoke in the kitchen. Later, she overheard him speaking softly to his wife. "Mom's room smells off again." That night, Eleanor sat on the edge of her bed, confused and deeply hurt. She had tried to fix the problem with perfume. She thought adding fragrance would solve it. But here's what she didn't realize, and what so many people don't realize: layering scent on top of odor doesn't remove it. It mixes. It intensifies. It creates something heavier and harder to ignore. Like Harold, Eleanor began researching. She discovered that aging brings invisible chemical shifts. Less sweat. Changing skin oils. Dry mouth. It wasn't neglect. It wasn't carelessness. It was chemistry. And once she understood that, something powerful happened. She stopped blaming herself. And she started changing her approach. If you're still here, and any of this feels uncomfortably familiar, let me say this clearly: you are not alone. These changes are natural. But they do not have to define your experience. There are gentle, proven ways to manage them. If you're with me so far, leave a 1 in the comments. I'd love to know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. We're just getting started. In the next part, I'm going to share the exact daily habits that helped people like Walter completely turn things around without spending a dime on fancy products. And trust me, one of those habits might surprise you. For years, Walter Collins tried to fix the problem the way most people do, by buying something. A new soap. A stronger deodorant. A different body spray. Powders. Sprays. Scented lotions. If it promised extra strength or long-lasting freshness, he tried it. But nothing really changed. Walter was 76, a quiet man who didn't complain much. Still, he noticed the small things. His daughter-in-law cracking open a window during family dinners. His grandson choosing to sit on the other side of the couch. No one said anything directly, but the message was there. One afternoon, when a window opened again without a word, something inside him sank. It wasn't anger. It was discouragement. He realized he had been masking the issue instead of addressing it. That's when he came across something different, not a product, but a set of simple daily habits rooted in how the aging body actually works. No fancy labels. No expensive bottles. Just consistency. Walter decided to commit to it for 1 week. Within days, something shifted. The room felt lighter. The tension he used to imagine wasn't there anymore. His grandson hugged him without hesitation. And for the first time in months, Walter felt relaxed in his own home. That's when he understood something powerful. Sometimes the solution isn't more products. It's better habits. Let me walk you through exactly what he did. Step 1. Drink warm water consistently. It sounds almost too simple, but this was the foundation. As we age, our bodies don't process waste as efficiently as they once did. Toxins that would normally be flushed out through sweat and urine can linger longer. And when that happens, odor often shows up through the skin. Water helps move waste out of the body. Warm water, in particular, is gentle on digestion and encourages circulation. Walter started with just 1 glass every morning right after waking up. That was it. No lemon. No powders. Just warm water. After a few days, he added more. Eventually, he worked up to about 6 glasses spread throughout the day. 1 after waking. 1 before lunch. 1 after lunch. 1 mid-afternoon. 1 before dinner. 1 before bed. He didn't chug them all at once. He spaced them out naturally around meals and routines. And here's something important: coffee and tea don't count. In fact, caffeine can actually dry you out. Walter still enjoyed his morning coffee, but he added an extra glass of water afterward to balance it. Within a week, he noticed something subtle: he felt cleaner from the inside. Less heavy. Less sluggish. Hydration isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. Step 2: gentle sunlight and light walking. Walter was never an exercise guy. The word alone felt intimidating. But a neighbor suggested something simple: a short walk after sunrise. Not power walking. Not sweating buckets. Just moving. Mild sunlight before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. has benefits most people overlook. It gently stimulates circulation and encourages light perspiration. That small amount of sweat helps release built-up waste through the skin. And sunlight itself naturally reduces certain odor-causing bacteria. Walter started walking for just 10 minutes each morning. No headphones. No rush. Just a slow stroll around the block. Eventually, those 10 minutes became 20. He began to look forward to it. It wasn't about fitness goals. It was about rhythm. Fresh air. Quiet thinking time. The light sweating combined with improved circulation made a noticeable difference in how his skin felt and how he smelled. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need equipment. Just movement and daylight. Step 3: shower with intention. Here's where many people unknowingly make things worse. Walter always bathed daily, but he used very hot water. It felt good. Relaxing. Comforting. The problem? Hot water strips away the skin's protective barrier. When that barrier is damaged, skin dries out. And dry skin tends to oxidize more easily, which can intensify that musty aging scent. Walter switched from hot to warm water. Not lukewarm. Not cold. Just comfortably warm. He also changed how he washed. Instead of rushing, he slowed down. He used a mild, unscented soap and paid attention to areas that hold moisture: underarms, behind knees, around the neck, and skin folds. Once a week, he added something new: a 20-minute soak in warm bath water around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, about 38 degrees Celsius. That gentle soak opened his pores without stripping his skin. It softened buildup and allowed residue to wash away more effectively. After bathing, he gently patted dry instead of rubbing harshly. Then he applied a light, fragrance-free moisturizer. This step was crucial. Moisturized skin oxidizes less and flakes less, both of which reduce odor. Within a week, the change was noticeable. No dramatic transformation. No overwhelming perfume. Just clean, neutral freshness. Water. Walking. Warm showers. Simple habits. Daily rhythm. Consistent care. Walter didn't spend a single dollar on specialty products. He simply aligned his habits with how his body had changed. And here's the part that surprised him most: as his confidence returned, so did his ease around others. He stopped worrying about how he might smell. And when you're relaxed, people feel that too. But this was only the beginning. Because there's another layer most people miss entirely, and it has nothing to do with how often you shower. It's about where you focus. In the next part, I'm going to share the overlooked spots and daily adjustments that made the biggest difference for people like Edna, the kind of details that can completely shift how fresh you feel. Some of these might surprise you. If you've made it this far, take a moment and leave a 2 in the comments. It lets me know you're committed to improving your health and confidence step by step. And stay with me, the next section ties everything together in a way that can truly change how you feel in your own skin. For a long time, Edna Lewis believed she was doing everything right. She showered every morning. She used soap. She wore a light perfume she'd loved for years. From her perspective, there was no reason anything should be wrong. And yet, something felt different. Her granddaughter's hugs were shorter. Conversations felt slightly distant. Once, she overheard a whisper behind a half-closed door about a smell. No one confronted her. No one wanted to hurt her feelings. But silence can hurt just as much. One afternoon, a neighbor, a woman around her age with a warm smile, shared something that changed everything. "It's not that we're unclean," she said gently. "It's that we're missing the right spots." That sentence stayed with Edna. And when she began adjusting how she bathed, not just how often, the difference was noticeable within days. Let's talk about those overlooked areas. Spot 1: skin folds and hidden creases. As we age, skin becomes thinner and sometimes looser. That creates small folds and creases where moisture and bacteria can collect. Behind the ears, under the breasts, under the arms, around the belly button, behind the knees, between the thighs. Even if you shower daily, if these areas aren't gently and thoroughly cleaned, odor can linger. Edna realized she had been rinsing quickly, assuming the soap running down her body was enough. It wasn't. She started using a soft washcloth and mild soap. No harsh scrubbing. No aggressive rubbing. Just gentle, consistent attention to each fold. Within a week, she felt fresher, not masked, not perfumed, just clean. And something else happened. During movie night, her granddaughter leaned in and rested her head on her shoulder again. No hesitation. Spot 2: hair-covered areas. Hair traps oil. It traps bacteria. And as sebum changes with age, those oils can carry stronger scents. The scalp. Underarms. Chest hair. Even fine facial hair. Edna had always washed her hair, but she realized she wasn't really washing her scalp. Now she massages her scalp in slow, circular motions under warm water, allowing the cleanser to reach the skin, not just the strands. Under her arms, she gives a little extra time. Around the torso, she cleans carefully and thoroughly. No heavy fragrances. No strong deodorant sprays layered on top. Just proper cleansing. Her daughter once told her, "Mom, your room smells like you again, not like something else." That meant everything. Spot 3: feet and low sweat zones. Feet are often forgotten, especially in older adults who may not sweat as heavily as they once did. But even reduced sweat can accumulate inside shoes. Edna began scrubbing gently between her toes during showers. She made sure to dry her feet completely afterward, especially between the toes where moisture hides. She switched to breathable cotton socks and changed them daily. She also began rotating her shoes, allowing each pair to air out overnight. A small sprinkle of baking soda inside shoes once in a while helped absorb lingering moisture. It wasn't complicated. But the house smelled fresher. Her living room felt lighter. And she felt more confident inviting people over. Now let's shift to something many people overlook entirely: what's on your plate. Frank, a regular at his local community center, once said, "I shower. I wash my clothes. So why do I still feel self-conscious?" What he didn't realize was that body odor doesn't only come from the outside. It can begin internally. Add color to your plate. Foods rich in antioxidants help reduce internal oxidation, one of the contributors to age-related scent. Frank started simple. Apples and tomatoes daily. Affordable. Easy. Then he added berries, red grapes, leafy greens, buckwheat, and brown rice. The brighter the produce, the better. Within weeks, even his daughter commented that he seemed fresher. It wasn't magic. It was chemistry. Increase water-rich foods. Not everyone enjoys drinking large amounts of water. That's okay. Cucumbers, watermelon, oranges, celery. These foods hydrate you from the inside and help flush waste gently through urine. If chewing feels like effort, blend them into a smoothie. Simple, quick, effective. Upgrade oral hygiene. Brushing twice a day is good, but sometimes it's not enough. Helen discovered tongue scraping. At first, it felt uncomfortable. But the tongue holds bacteria that brushing alone doesn't remove. After making it a daily habit, she noticed a major difference in her breath and her confidence. Sugar-free gum with xylitol after meals can also stimulate saliva production, which naturally cleans the mouth. Moderate coffee and alcohol. Both coffee and alcohol can dry you out, intensifying odor from the inside. Carl didn't quit coffee. He simply reduced 1 cup and replaced it with roasted barley tea. He drank extra water alongside it. Small adjustments. Big results. Support digestion. Constipation can contribute to odor because waste sits longer in the body. Adding fiber, oats, steamed vegetables, beans, can improve digestion and reduce that internal buildup. Olivia noticed that when her digestion improved, so did the subtle sour scent she couldn't explain before. Now, let's talk about something that surprised Harold Simmons. Clothing and bedding. He showered daily. Used lotion. Brushed his teeth. But his grandchildren still hesitated. One day, his daughter gently suggested changing his pillowcases more often. That's when it clicked. Clothing absorbs sweat, skin oils, and dead skin cells. Rewearing shirts or undergarments, even just for a day or two, allows bacteria to multiply. Harold began changing shirts and underwear daily. He switched to breathable cotton fabrics instead of synthetic materials that trap moisture. Next, bedding. We spend about a third of our lives in bed. Sheets absorb oils and odor over time. Change pillowcases twice a week. Wash sheets weekly. If possible, let them dry in sunlight. Shoes should rotate. Socks should change daily. And open your windows twice a day, even for just 10 minutes, to allow fresh air to circulate. Ventilation alone can transform a space. Now let's bring everything together. That distinct scent often associated with aging doesn't come from poor hygiene. It comes from subtle changes: reduced sweat, altered skin oils, dry mouth, low hydration, diet, and overlooked fabrics. The solution isn't expensive. It isn't complicated. It's consistent. Drink about 6 glasses of warm water daily. Take gentle walks in sunlight. Shower with warm, not hot, water. Clean those hidden areas carefully. Moisturize afterward. Eat antioxidant-rich foods. Scrape your tongue. Change clothes daily. Wash bedding weekly. Air out your home. Small habits. Big difference. Let me tell you about Helen, 67. She used to sit at the edge of the couch during movie nights, afraid to get too close to her grandkids. She worried they could smell something she couldn't. After a few months of following these simple routines, something beautiful happened. Her granddaughter ran up, hugged her tightly, and said, "Grandma, you smell like sunshine." Helen cried. Not because of the words, but because of what they meant. You deserve moments like that too. If this video helped you reflect or gave you hope, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more practical, honest advice that supports healthy, confident aging. And before you go, tell me, what's one habit you're starting today? More water? Better bedding routines? Paying attention to those overlooked spots? Share it in the comments. Your decision might inspire someone else who's quietly struggling.